An introduction to ratios. Ratios are a comparison of two or more numbers in amount, quantity, or size using division. So the lesson starts with giving an example of a ratio comparison of 4 girls to 7 boys. Now there are 3 different ways we can write this ratio. We can write it with the word 2 in between the two numbers, and if it's girls to boys, that 4 needs to come first, the 7 needs to come second. We can write it in fraction form, or we can write it with a colon in between the two numbers. So students here on the next slide are going to just type in the ratio 3 different ways for red circles to yellow circles. So the 5 has to come first, red to yellow, so 5 to 3. So they're just going to type in here 5 to 3 with the word 2, 5 to 3 as a fraction, and 5 to 3 with a colon. They're going to do the same thing on the next slide with elephants to zebras, so they just have to count written 3 different ways. Then they're going to use multiplication or division to find equivalent ratios, the same way they find equivalent fractions. So here we know we have to multiply the numerator by 3 and we get 18. They're just going to type in 18. Here we're going to divide numerator and denominator by 7. We get 3 to 2, and they're just going to go ahead and finish that. Now this could vary. It could be some different answers. Most of the students are probably going to type in 1 to 2, but there could be different answers there. Now we're going to look at a table. We're going to find equivalent ratios in this table. So this is a proportional table, which means all the ratios have to be equivalent. 1 to 3 has to equal 2 to 6, equals 3 to, and here I can see that I just multiply the numerator here times 3, the denominator by 3, and that would give me 9. Now here to get 15, I would multiply times 5, and if I multiply 1 times 5, I'm going to get 5 here. So all of these ratios then will be equivalent. They're going to do the same thing on the next 2 tables, making sure all the ratios are equivalent. And then they're taught that there are different types of ratios. For example, a part-to-part ratio would be comparing a part of a group to another part of that same group. For example, 5 red roses to 7 yellow roses in the group roses. Part to whole is you're comparing a part of the group to the whole group. So for example, 8 girls to 25 children. So students are going to read these scenarios on the next couple slides, and they're going to determine whether they're part to part or part to whole, and they're going to type those in. Now here we're going to find the ratios in simplest form. We have a ratio here of boys to girls. So we have an art class that has 14 boys, 16 girls, and the teacher. Boys to girls would be 14 to 6, but we need to simplify that. If we divide by 2, we've got 7 to 8 as our ratio. Girls to boys would be the opposite, 8 to 7. And the ratio of teacher to students would be 1 to 30. On the next slide, we have a bowl of fruit with 10 strawberries, 5 grapes, and 15 raspberries. If we type the ratio of grapes to strawberries, we're going to get 5 to 10, which we can simplify to 1 to 2. Raspberries to grapes, and strawberries to the total number of pieces of fruit. And then they're going to put these ratios in simplest form. So that is the introduction to ratios.